So in this video, I'm going to give you a Steph Curry build that's a cross between Steph Curry and Deron Williams. He's gonna be an excellent shooter just like Steph is, a great shot creator like Steph, a little bit stronger like Deron Williams, but this build can finish, dunk, it can also defend. It's a good, well-rounded build that specializes on three-point shooting. And the first question you gotta ask yourself is whether you want to go 6'3 or 6'2 or maybe even 6'4. So the reason why I'm going 6'2 with this build is because we want to get as many attributes as possible and to take advantage of mini marksman as a badge, which I think only activates for certain height differences. So 6'2 is about the lowest I'd go, and for Steph, he's about 6'2, 6'3. That's probably where we want to be. The next thing you want to consider is what kind of Steph Curry build do you want to make? Personally, it can't be Steph Curry if he can't get 99 3 ball. That's just me. I know people are sort of like, wingspan is a touchy subject, but okay, we have to go with Steph Curry with a 6'3 wingspan. And then for our weight, one of my requirements across all my builds is to make sure, this is absolutely essential for across all of your builds, strength is important. And the strength level that we want to get is 85 because that will allow us to get certain badges, which you'll see later on. So now we got 6'2", 209 pounds, 6'3 wingspan. That gives us a 99 mid-range, 99 3 ball, 99 pass accuracy. Basically everything we want out of this build that Steph Curry can do, he can do. Okay, next. Before you start with your build and you start mixing and matching those attributes, the easiest thing you could do, if you find a content creator that has your playstyle, you trust his judgment, his game knowledge, you have the similar level of stick skill, go ahead, copy as much content creator builds that you like. I mean, NBA 2K25 even has a dedicated section that gives content creators their own builds in the game. Personally, I do not watch other guys' content on how to create builds because most builds are for themselves. Some people make builds for all types of players, but if you're trying to catch a wide net with your build, in my opinion, the build is not going to be any good. Okay, so what is the vision for this build? The vision is simple: Steph Curry. Not gonna be 100% Steph Curry, but Steph Curry at his base. And what that means is that Steph Curry is an elite three-point shooter that changes the geometry of the floor by his ability to be a threat as soon as he crosses that three-point line. To mimic Steph Curry at his finest, you would want a build that will get you to 99 3 ball so that you can get all these legend badges. The problem? Getting to 99 3 ball is already expensive. As you can see, our attributes already go up to a 64. And by bringing your 3-point rating up to a 99, these other attributes which you might not care about, such as mid-range, free throw, and your close shot, all go up, making each attribute point to get you to 99 3 ball that much more expensive. So for example, every time we move your 3 ball rating down, okay, your other ratings don't go down as well. So you have to find that sweet spot where in there, as you can see, starting at 90, every addition to your 3 ball rating adds one mid-range rating. And in fact, we take that a step further. Every attribute point getting you to 90 and above moves these other attributes with it, making the cost of going to 99 that much more expensive, because if you're tuning a specific build, these are not the attributes that you want. Okay, I'll shut up for now. So this is one point you can do. You can do 99 3 ball off the jump. Let's say you don't care about cap breakers, you might not play the game long enough, you want to have fun, go ahead. Get your legend badges, get that up to 99. Sure thing, no problem. The other option is you make a build with cap breakers in mind. Okay, so we just reset the build. Our goal is to get to 99 3 ball. Okay? And if you have cap breakers already, you reach starter 3. Okay, bring your 3 ball up to a 94. The max you can get or apply cap breakers is 5 attribute points per attribute. So even though you can get like 15 cap breakers, you can only apply 5 to 3 point. This is our starting point, okay? And later on, I'll show you with the build that I made. 94 3 ball with 5 cap breakers in mind to bring that up to legend if you have starter 3. Let's go. Okay, the next core of Steph Curry. You apply pressure from the 3-point line, making sure that your defenders are guarding you all the way to 3-point. You have enough mid-range to make them pay if they start to commit to you up farther away from the court. So that's another way to punish your defenders. But you're gonna need to be able to punish your defenders whether they're guarding you from the 3-point line or the mid-range area. And that's by being a 3-level threat and being able to finish at the basket. So you guys know me. If you've been watching the channel for a long time, I've always been driving layup, nothing else. The problem? In order for you to be truly effective with driving layups, I think at the minimum, you need this to be 90. Because you get gold fearless physical finisher, which is an important badge if you are a small guard. Hell, even if you are a big player. If you can't get 90 on your layup, or maybe even 87 to get that Devin Booker layup package, in my opinion, don't bother. Maybe you min-max and try to get it to 80 so that you can get the Trae Young layup style, which has some decent floater scoops and he's got a great regular layup. But in my opinion, if you can't get 87, or if you can't get physical finisher on gold, don't bother. So what's going to be a big change from my usual builds is I'm going to put driving dunk up to an 80. I want to be able to be elite from the 3-point line, elite enough in the mid-range line, and just decent enough to finish at the basket. So I'm putting my driving dunk to 80. And for that to be truly effective, you want your vertical to be around 65. Hold on. Steph Curry don't dunk. I know. But we're not going to be able to get a high enough driving layup to do the other things that I want to do with this build. So we're going to put driving dunk up to an 80 just to make sure we can finish open lanes. Do not go up against contested dunks. You're not going to be able to do that. I just wanted the bare minimum. The second core vision of this build is that I want to be able to beat my defenders from the 3-point line. And once they extend into guarding me from that 3-point line, what do I want to do? I want to be able to break them down and go past my defenders just so that I don't want to be a one-dimensional shooter. That means catch and shoot. I want to be able to break my defender down. And that means I'm going to want most dribble animations, particularly Steph Curry's dribble animations. So I bring that up to a 92. But your ball handle is nothing if you can't blow by your defender. And there are 2 key ways for you to blow by your defender. One is with speed with ball. And I can't stress this enough. Goal lightning launch is fine. For most people, I wouldn't recommend goal. Unless you are a big guard, big wing type of build. If you are a small guard, you need this on a minimum of Hall of Fame, and then you can use your max +1 badges to put that up to legend, which is what I will do. Okay, the next thing, strength is important this year. Not just to bully your defenders in the post, for example, but for dribbling, blow-bys, finishing, and getting around the court, defending, strength is important. So we're going to max out strength to an 85. The next thing I want the Steph Curry build to do is I need agility to be up to an 82 to get shifty shooter up to a Hall of Fame level. And that's going to be important later on, okay? That's going to be important later on. So our agility is maxed out at an 82. Now we got 5 overall attributes left to play with, okay? And this is where things get interesting. You have to ask yourself, are you going to be a park build, a rec build? Is this for the 5s, the 3s, the 2s, the 1s? And therefore, these attributes like free throw and pass accuracy, that comes into play. I'm gonna do something different with this build. I'm going to take it to the rec primarily, but I'm also going to take it to the park. And while ideally I'd like for this to be at an 87, so we can get, well, actually just an 85. The reality is I'm just gonna be fine with a 78, and for when I'm running with my point guard builds, I'm just gonna buy those passing boosts, those passing boosts that boost your ratings. 78 with those passing boosts feel fine, but you have to be judicious with how you pass the ball. Okay? Now, you want to be a point guard that passes the ball, distributes, bring this up to at least an 85. So that will have you great. Okay? Now, what I want the Steph Curry build to be is I want to be able to defend the ball. Because if you are a small guard and you can't defend, you're basically giving free buckets out there. So I'm putting my perimeter defense up to an 87. Why? You can actually stop at an 85 and that's fine. But 87 gives you the two-way build name title. And if you're playing with randoms, they want to see that two-way in the title. That's why I'm bringing this up to an 87. But more importantly, and this will show you later on, if we apply 5 cap breakers up to our perimeter defense, that will bring your perimeter defense up to a 92. And there you can get gold challenger. Okay, so that's important. But let's bring this back to an 87. Let's get our steal down to a, okay, right there. Let's bring our block down. Okay. Okay, so we reset. We want perimeter defense to be 87. So now we are identified as a two-way. Okay. The next, there was an important change in patch 2.0 to the contest system. For small guards or for any build, for example, hands-up defense won't be as effective, especially if you are far away from the ball, vertically or horizontally. And since we are a small build, we're gonna need block. Okay? We're gonna need block. So, I'm not gonna say we're gonna put this up to some ridiculous number so that we're snatch blocking everything, but having a high enough block rating so that you can jump is going to be important, and 50 for me feels like that good enough number. You can max this out to a 58 if you like, but for me it's 50. Next, you ideally want to max this out if you're doing a park build. Again, if you do not have perimeter or interior this year, you can't get away with those things that people were doing last year with 25 perimeter, 25 interior, so long as you're in good position. And since we are a smaller build, we can't get any interior badges, so there's no point in maxing this out. So I just basically tune this to how I can get certain attributes later on. But let's say we stick with 70, and then you have to ask yourself, are you a steal guy? Okay, are you a steal guy? If you are a steal guy, even though they were nerfed, I'd say silver is a good enough level, and if you like, you can put your max +1 badges. So if you like steals, go for it. You can actually bring this up to a 91 to get gold glove. That's not my playstyle. I'm not a huge steal gamble guy, but as you can see from here, you can now put this up to a 91. And basically, you'll be fine with this build. You allocate the rest of your points to, let's say, free throw, maybe boost up pass accuracy up to an 80. That doesn't really add anything in terms of badges, but it gives you that faster pass accuracy that might be the difference. Okay, you can max out block if you like. Okay, you can add a little bit more to perimeter so that your cap breakers, if you want to use them, you minimize the additional. Okay, or let's say you just want to stick this at a silver level. You want to reach an 80 driving layup so you can get physical finisher on silver, which I think that's fine. And then you add your +1 to physical finisher. Okay, that should be good too. You can add it to 85 to layup so that you can get layup mix master up to a silver level, and then just use your +1 to get gold layup mix master. Layup, as long as you have gold layup mix master and physical finisher, ideally is fine. So if you can get to 85 if you like, this is also a great number. But what I want to do, as I said, I don't believe in investing in layup unless you can get a 90 or 93. especially for small guard builds. I don't believe in it. I have a separate video on this. I have my thoughts on layups, even with real player percentage being as good as it is. I'll have a separate video on layups. So in my opinion, just to get the bare minimum finish, open lanes, 80 dunk is fine, and the 77 layup truthfully is fine enough. Now the question is, what do you want to do with these extra attribute points? This here is the point where you really want to think about, what do I want my build to be? Do you want it to be a better finisher? Okay, so we bring this up to an 87, but to max that out, really what we want is to get vertical up to a 75 to get silver posterizer. Okay. Then you have some leftover attribute points to play around with. You can maybe bump up your mid-range to an 85 to increase that green window for your middies, and then bump up your free throw up to an 80. You can absolutely do that, and let's just put that extra one to block to finish it out. If this is the build that you like, go ahead. You won't get shades of Steph Curry, but once you apply those +5 cap breakers to your 94 3 ball, then you'll probably have a Steph Curry type build. So this is the chef build that you want to go with. Perhaps if you want to really dunk to get that 87 dunk. Now another alternative, let's say you don't really care about dunking too much, you're fine with an 80. Let's bring this down to a 25, and let's bring back our vertical down to a 65. You want to make this build into a better passer. Let's see how we can tweak this a little bit more. I think we can reduce close shot. So again, when you are readjusting your attributes, make sure that those attributes that went up also go down when you remove certain things. So we can get our pass accuracy up to an 85 to give us a bronze bailout, and then you can put your free throw up to a 95 if you like. Let's say we're fine with an 80. Let's say we bring this up to an 81, and then just max out into your defense, max out block if we can. Add a little bit more to steal and defensive rebound. And for example, this is just another way that you can customize your build. You get shades of Kemba, Tyrese Maxey, Fred VanVleet. Now what you'll get is a build that's a little bit better of a distributor, still decent finisher. You are now a two-way 3-level shot creator with the ability to play interior defense somewhat, perimeter defense at an excellent level, play enough steals so that you can do that. So this is another way that you can customize this build. Once again, mix and match depending on how you want those last few attribute points to really complement the core of your playstyle, which is going to be the insane 3-point shooting, the decent enough finishing with a great mid-range scoring potential as well. You'll be a threat on all 3 levels, but now you're also a better passer while still being great defensively. So hope you learned something from this video about how I like to tweak builds and the vision that I like in making builds. Once again, do not follow any build to a T. I do not recommend it. Builds are made primarily for a specific person, and in this case, I prioritize playstyle animations. I'm usually off meta, so I don't recommend players really capture my build style one-to-one. But if you agree with the core of what my builds are like, go ahead. This is built with cap breakers in mind. So if you are making this build and you do not necessarily figure you'll be playing so much that you'll get 5 cap breakers, there's a way to design this build so that you can just use your seasonal cap breakers to get a Steph Curry like build. I'll have that as an example at the end, but hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you in Season 2. This is the build I'll be rocking with for Season 2. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. So I actually made a more specialized version of this build that got Stephen Curry shades. So it's pretty similar to the build that I showed here. This build gives up some of the versatility for better shooting, but this build isn't any better than any of those builds, just a matter of preference really. So next, these are the signature animations, and I won't discuss them in detail, but if you're interested in what I'm working with right now, here it is. I'm still workshopping a few of the key ways to get into my favorite Chef Curry step back jumper combos, so stay tuned for that. If you're interested in the jumper, it's Kyrie Irving base with Devin Booker upper and Cam Thomas upper. Split 50-50 on the quickest setting. This jump shot base is built with rhythm shooting in mind. It's not necessarily the fastest jumper, but in my opinion, it's smooth and consistent. And this is the first step in our Steph Curry journey with the Chef 2.0 build for 2K25. And I'm going to show you a detailed video in some of my favorite combos to get into the Chef Curry system, just like how I developed it in 2K24. As you can see, this build is rocking out exactly how I like it. It's that cross between Steph Curry and Deron Williams that I'm really enjoying. So stay tuned for online gameplay. Still just grinding out the badges, but stay tuned.